Man, these pepper jack cheeses are really good. Oh, hello, my background friends and lemon pop. Excuse me, I almost choked on my own chroma foot. Anyway, hello, my best sound friends and lemon pie cuties. Mark's a punk gamer, a.k.a. Markapunk here. As you can already tell, this is a classic rock band I have not yet ranked yet, which is sorry. Which is a.c.d.c., which I haven't ranked yet. So I've been wanting to do this ranking since I've started this a long time ago, and now I'm doing it now. I'm ranking the a.c.d.c. albums. All 16 of them to be precise. So I'm really excited to get into this one. This is the one classic rock band I haven't covered in the ranking yet until now. So let's rank the a.c.d.c. albums worst to best. So it'll be the challenge of Bon Scott versus Brian Johnson. So, battle to the death. Whoever I can hang out with at the end of this ranking. So, stay tuned to find out. So, let's get this started. So, my number 16th pick for the worst a.c.d.c. album is definitely Fly on the Wall album. So, yeah, this is a.c.d.c.'s worst album, Fly on the Wall. So that's the only song I like from this is Playing with Girls. So that's the only song I like from Fly on the Wall. So this is when the time Brian Johnson was under the weather when he was recording this album in the mid 1985. So that's what happened. There's not much epicness in this album whatsoever. Yeah, I consider this one to be the worst a.c.d.c. album out of the mid 80s. At around that time, they were more focused on thrash metal back then than classic rock, to be honest. And Brian Johnson is really under the weather trying to sing, so it sounds like he's a dead Donald Duck to me. So my number 16th worst one has to be Fly on the Wall, guys. Sorry, definitely the goddamn worst. Now we're working up to a little bit of okay to average to awesome on these a.c.d.c. albums from here. So my number 15th pick for my second least listened to a.c.d.c. album, and it's back in 2014. It's called Rocker Bust album. So this is my second least favorite a.c.d.c. album from 2014 since. Yeah, none of these other a.c.d.c. albums I've never heard before, so some of them are my well known. But this one, this is not my cup of tea for a.c.d.c., sorry. So, this is not one of them. So, the only couple of songs I do like from Rock or Bust is Rock the Blues Away and lastly Baptized by Fire. So, that's the only two songs I like from this, but other than that, this is a trudge to get through this one too. Same as Fly on the Wall album. That's also a drudge to get through. So, my second least favorite for number 15 is Rock or Bust. Now, my 14th pick for this ranking is going to be Blow Up Your Video back in 1988, this album. So, this one's a little bit better than Rock or Bust in my opinion, so it's still in the 80s era of a.c.d.c. So, this one's another okay album from a.c.d.c, Blow Up Your Video. So, 4 songs I do like from this album. So, Heat Seeker, That's the Way I Want to Rock and Roll, Go Zone, and lastly, Two's Up. So, those are the only 4 songs I like from Blow Up Your Video album, but this is also not my cup of tea for a.c.d.c. as well. So, at least it's a tad bit better than Rock or Bust. Overall, my number 14 is going to be Blow Up Your Video. Okay guys, my number 13th pick for an a.c.d.c. studio album. Please don't hate me for this one. So it's based on my opinion and all that sort of stuff. My number 13th pick is going to be For Those About to Rock, We Salute You! Yeah, I decided to put this at my number 13. This one's another okay a.c.d.c. album. So I'm going to go ahead and name all 5 tracks I do like from this one. So this came out right after Back in Black, so a year later. So here's the 5 songs I do like from this album, so here we go. For Those About to Rock, We Salute You! That still cracks me up when I heard that song. That's my favorite song. Let's Get It Up is a good song. Snowballed. Evil Walks, and lastly, Night of the Long Knives is a pretty cool song. And that's about it. So, this one's another okay AC/DC album that came out in 1981, a year later. So, since Back in Black was so successful, they just released another album a year later. So, this one's another okay album in my opinion. So, for those about to rock, we salute you at my number 13 spot. So, you're welcome. Alright, my best sound friends on the Pike Cuties, after that worst impression of Brian Johnson. So, my number 12 pick for this ranking is going to be Flick of the Switch album. So, this one's a little bit better than For Those About to Rock album. So, this is an okay attempt for an AC/DC album in my opinion, Flick of the Switch album. So, this is an okay one. So, I wasn't really too hyped up about this one. So, not only that, it has the worst cover in my opinion from AC/DC I've ever seen in my life. So, it's just an Angus Young in an animated cartoon flicking a switch. It's just too funny for me. But there are 6 songs I do like from this album. So, This House is on Fire, Flick of the Switch, Nervous Shakedown, Guns for Hire, Bedlam in Belgium, and lastly Badlands. So, 6 songs I do like from Flick of the Switch album. But overall, guys, this is just the most boring-ass cover from AC/DC, in my opinion. So, another not my cup of tea AC/DC album. So, my number 12 pick is going to be Flick the Switch. Alright, so my number 11th pick for this AC/DC studio album. I know they're going to hate me on this a little bit of opinion right here. It's close to the middle of my ranking. So, number 11th pick is going to be the Ball Breaker album. I know, this one's a Rick Rubin produced album. I get it. I know a lot of people do not like Rick Rubin being a producer in these type of albums, so I get you. But this one's a little bit decently cool in my opinion. So, the Ball Breaker album. So, there's a few songs I do like from this album, so I will name them out. Hard as a Rock, The Furor, Boogeyman, it's a cool song. Hail Caesar's an awesome song. Love Bomb, Whiskey on the Rocks is a cool song. And lastly, Ball Breaker. So, I know it's a Rick Rubin produced studio album, so I know most of you guys hate this, so this is the reason it's a little bit lower on my ranking at this number 11 spot here. So, but there's 7 songs I do like from this album. This came out in the mid-90s, 1995, I believe, yeah. That's when it came out. So, the 90s era of AC/DC. So, my number 11th pick is going to be Breaking Your Balls with Ball Breaker. Okay, my number 10th pick for the AC/DC studio album is going to be the Black Ice album. Yeah, this one's a little bit better than the Ball Breaker album, okay? It's a little bit better. So, still not my favorite. It's in the average of my ranking. So, back then, I wasn't really impressed with this album. There is a few songs I do like from the Black Ice album, so which is Rock and Roll Train, Big Jack's a cool song. Anything Goes is a good one. War Machine, Spoilin' for a Fight's a good one. Disciple, She Likes Rock and Roll, and lastly Black Ice. So there's a few songs I do like from Black Ice, but back then I wasn't really impressed, and nowadays I'm not really impressed. I was impressed a little bit, and at the same time I'm not. So this one's another okay AC/DC album. So my number 10th pick is going to be Black Ice. My number 9th pick for the AC/DC studio album is going to be their only latest one from 2020 is actually the Power Up album. This is almost came close to being my top favorite, but almost. So, this is their only latest AC/DC album they have for now. Unless they make it, apparently. But anyway, Power Up is almost good. So, songs I do like from Power Up. So, Realize, Rejection, Shoot in the Dark, Through the Mist of Time, Witch's Spell, Wild Reputation, No Man's Land, Systems Down, and lastly Code Red. So, This came almost close to being my top favorite, but almost close, but not really. Not even close to my cigar. So, I don't even smoke cigars, but there you go. I smoke this shit. But anyway, Power Up is pretty good too, so not even close to being my favorite, and all that stuff. My number 9th pick is going to be the Power Up album. Alright, we're getting into a little bit better on my ranking here on out from 8 to 1. So, here we go. My 8th pick for this one, please don't hate me in the comments below for this one. It's going to be the Razor's Edge album. So, yeah, this album is the most aggressive AC/DC album ever created, this one. This came out in the early 90s. So, this is one of their aggressive AC/DC albums they have in this one. So the songs I do like from Razor's Edge is definitely Thunderstruck. It's one of their best songs. Fire Your Guns. Money Talks is a good damn song. This has good bass in that song. The Razor's Edge is one of the greatest aggressive songs ever created. I like that one. Rock Your Heart Out is a good one. Are You Ready is a good one. Got You by the Balls is another good song. And lastly, Shot of Love is a good one too. Yeah, overall, it's one of AC/DC's aggressive albums they made, which is Razor's Edge, that came out in the early 90s. And, this one's pretty good, overall, for this album. My number 8th pick is going to be Razor's Edge. Number 7th pick for this ranking. I'm talking about the international releases, the actual releases of the studio albums, that's why they're 16. But anyway, my number 7th pick for this one is going to be High Voltage, the 1976 international release one. I think is their first debut album. So this one's pretty cool. So where AC/DC first started, in my opinion. So, and it has Angus Young in the cover on it, of course. It's iconic. So I love me some classic AC/DC. So this one's a pretty good one. So songs I do like is It's a Long Way to the Top if you want to rock and roll singer, Livewire, TNT, definitely. It shows up in commercials and ads and stuff. Can I Sit Next to You, Girl? She's Got Balls. I like that one. And lastly, High Voltage. So, this is a classic AC/DC album. This one's a pretty good one, but it's not top of my ranking. So, this is still a pretty good AC/DC album. Pretty good way to start off the band. So, my number 7th pick is going to be High Voltage. Number 6 studio album from AC/DC is going to be Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap album. So, I like this one a little bit better than their first debut. So, it's still in the Bon Scott era. I do like. So, here we go. So, songs I do like is Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, Love at First Feel, Rocker is a good one. Problem Child is one of their best ones. There's Gonna Be Some Rockin's a good one. Ain't No Fun Waiting Around to Be a Millionaire is a good one. Right On, and lastly Squealer. So, this one's another pretty good AC/DC album, in my opinion. This is another good one from the Bon Scott era. And it's still a good one. So, number 6 pick is gonna be Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Alright guys, this is the moment of truth here. So, my top 5 AC/DC albums, I like all the tracks in this one. So, please take this top 5 as my own opinion, please. Please don't have hate comments about this one. So, these are my top 5 favorite AC/DC albums that are actually pretty damn solid, all the tracks are. So, my number 5th pick, please do not hate comments on this one. Number 5 is going to be Back in Black album. So, I know a lot of you AC/DC fans will probably put that near the top of their ranking. But for me, I'm putting it in a number 5 pick. So, it's still this is one of their second best selling AC/DC albums of all time that came out in the early 80s. So, it's one of my mom's favorites as well. So, there you go. So, I like all the tracks. So, I'm going to name all the tracks out to you guys. So, Hell's Bells, Shoot to Thrill, What Do You Do for Money, Honey, Give a Dog a Bone, Let Me Put My Love Into You, Back in Black, In the Sack, that song. You Shook Me All Night Long, of course, Have a Drink on Me. Shake a Leg is actually my favorite song from AC/DC. Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution. So there you go. I like all tracks in this one, but it's not really high. It made it to my top 5, so be glad to be happy about that. So yeah, most people will put that as their number 1 favorite, but for me, I put it as my number 5. So I will put for number 5 is definitely Back in Black. Hit the sack. My number 4th pick for AC/DC albums, studio album here is gonna be Highway to Hell. This one. Classic Bon Scott album. So I like all the tracks in this album. This one's another solid AC/DC album. It's definitely Highway to Hell. And sadly, Bon Scott's last album before he passed away until he got replaced by Brian Johnson, the Donald Duck voiced lead singer. So sadly, this is Bon Scott's last one. This is why it's in the reason it's at my number 4. So Highway to Hell is still a good one. So I'm going to name all the tracks for this one. Highway to Hell. And Girls Got Rhythm is a good song. Walk All Over You. Touch Too Much. Beating Around the Bush. Shot Down in Flames. Get It Hot. If You Want Blood, You've Got It. Love Hungry Man. And lastly, the Night Prowler. So this is another good solid AC/DC album, and sadly Bon Scott's last one before he died. So, which kind of makes me upset, you know. So my number 4th pick is gonna be Highway to Hell, bitches. Alright guys, we made it to my top 3 of my AC/DC studio album ranking. This might be a surprise to everybody who are AC/DC fans. So, my number 3 bronze medal winner, I really love this album, guys. This came out in the early 2000s. I really enjoyed the hell out of this album. The album I'm talking about for my number 3 bronze medal winner is definitely Stiff Upper Lip album. So I enjoy the living hell out of this AC/DC album. Stiff Upper Lip is a good one than Highway to Hell. That has more epicness and more blues in this. So this is one of the albums that has the best epic guitar riffs from Angus Young, best blues riff, everything that checks the list for this Stiff Upper Lip album. So I enjoyed the hell out of this AC/DC album. So I'm gonna name all 12 tracks for you guys for your own enjoyment. So here we go: Stiff Upper Lip, Meltdown, House of Jazz, Hold Me Back, Safe in New York, Can't Stand Still, Can't Stop Rock and Roll. Satellite Blues is a good song. Damned is a good one. Come and Get It is a good one. All Screwed Up is a great song as well. And lastly, Give It Up. This is one of the best solid AC/DC albums to me, in my opinion. They came out in the early 2000s of AC/DC. Beginning of the modern era of AC/DC, I like. So, but I'm going to put this at my number 3 bronze medal winner for now. Is going to be Stiff Upper Lip. Alright guys, so my top 2 here, it's kind of hard for me to which one I can go back and forth to, so I've actually re-listened to these 2. It's hard for me to pick which one's my most favorite AC/DC album. It's going to be hard for me. My number 2 silver medal winner is going to be the Power Rage album. So, this is one of the darkest AC/DC albums from the 70s era of Bon Scott. I do like, so, the Power Rage album. So, I love this one. So, this is the one AC/DC album I've not heard before until now. So, Power Rage is my favorite. So, this is one of their best ones in my opinion. All tracks for this one. So, Rock and Roll Damnation, Down Payment Blues, Give Me a Bullet, Riff Raff, Sin City. What's Next to the Moon, Gone Shootin', What to My Neck and You, Kicked in the Teeth. So, I enjoyed the hell out of Power Rage album. I think this is one of the solid AC/DC albums in my opinion. Is definitely Power Rage. So, this is one of my top favorite solid AC/DC albums in my opinion. So, number 2 silver medal winner, I have to give it to Power Rage, guys. It makes me feel maximum when I'm power aged. Overall, guys, you guys want to know my #1 gold medal winner out of all 16 of these AC/DC albums I really enjoyed listening to. And it's damn near, it's actually one of the damn perfect AC/DC albums. All tracks are awesome. All 8 of them, actually, are damn solid from here on out, from beginning to end. It's going to be Let There Be Rock, is my #1 favorite. This is a damn solid AC/DC album from the Bon Scott era. So, you guys should know this. So, this is my #1 favorite AC/DC album out of all 16 of them. So, Let There Be Rock is one of them. This is one of Bon Scott's best AC/DC album ever made that came out in the 70s. And I'm going to name all 8 tracks, and I'll end the ranking here. So, Go Down, Dog Eat Dog, Let There Be Rock, Bad Boy Boogie, Problem Child. They repeated the same song since Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap album. They repeat the same song, Problem Child. I don't know why. They repeat it twice in this one. I thought you should know that. It's funny. Overdose, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be. And lastly, Whole Lotta Rosie. Awesome song to end your album with the best song. I love Whole Lotta Rosie's song. It's a really good song to end your album with. So, overall, guys, my #1 gold medal winner has to be Let There Be Rock album. It has to be. So, this is a damn good, solid AC/DC album out of all of them. And Bon Scott's best one. Alright, I was going to discuss which lead singer of AC/DC I do like to hang out with. To me, guys, Brian Johnson's okay. He still has that Donald Duck voice, which is funny, as a replacement lead singer for AC/DC. But I'm going to scrap him. But I want to hang out with Bon Scott more in the 70s era, in my opinion. So, Bon Scott is the original lead singer of AC/DC to me. Overall, guys, that's who I like to hang out with. And holy crap! I hope you guys enjoyed all the editing I did. So this took me a while to edit this huge ranking. Hopefully, the next ranking will not be as long. And I love AC/DC, guys. Overall, still a classic rock band that came out around the 70s, and all that good stuff. I'm gonna end this new studio album ranking of AC/DC right here. So subscribe to me if you haven't. Click the bell to get notified on the next video, and comment like about this studio album ranking of AC/DC, worst to best. And I'll see you on the next ranking, guys. My best sound friends and Lemon Pie Cuties. See you sure later.